Hi guys, so something a little more unusual than usual today. We have a two-way ViaSat modem here. A little bit of background on this. This is for satellite broadband access. This was supplied to us with a new dish and other equipment to replace the original I think it was KU band system we had, which worked absolutely fine, worked perfectly every time. I think we got about 3 hours out of this, and I know that there's a video in the channel going over me trying to get this sorted. Long story short, we never got it fixed. We brought another Starlink system and we had an awful lot of trouble with Big Blue Broadband actually getting our money back and getting this sorted. We paid for the system outright. They told us we lent it. We had a bit of a back and forth with them. They decided we did actually buy it outright. So this is all surplus to requirements now. This unit has a DUF firmware in it, so it was affected by the ViaSat breach. Again, we were told it wasn't, and then it was verified that actually it was. All by the by. So what I'm expecting in here is slightly more than just a modem router. Obviously you've got the satellite transceiver in here and the router part itself. With the previous modem, it was definitely one unit, but this feels, when you access it, like there's two completely separate bits of kit in here. It feels like there is a router in here and then a separate modem that's not combined. So I'm interested to see what we've got in here. So let's tear in. We've got two screws here. That's not a velociraptor in the background, that's a dog. And then I'm guessing we just prise it open. This device is I say not really usable, so I'm not too concerned about it. So let's spudge away. Bear with me 1 second. My finger is now stuck in it. Oh God, I do not want you in this. Okay, we're in. If I was sensible, I would grab the metal spudges. Can we get in there now? Plastic clips everywhere. It's not quite coming out the way I thought it would. Oh, okay. It's like that, is it? So, there we go. You don't have to take off the bit that unscrews. So, we'll pop that off. There we go, that's out. And I will just re-clip back the bottom. So first things first, one of the things about these modems that is slightly annoying is they have an incredibly weak LED. You've got to really put your hand over it to see what's going on with the lights, and I think this is down to the Tooway sticker on the front. Let's have a look at this LED board. So we've got some interesting light pipery in there. So we've got an email icon and then an overall illumination. Not quite sure why we need that, but there we go. There's an awful lot on this board. So we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G LEDs with a little LED for our email in there. We've got two LEDs for each light, so they are 3-pin devices, so not quite sure what's going on there. We have transistors to drive them, and it looks like they are not really individually addressable. We don't have enough pins here. We're using 6-7 pins there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, there's Charlieplexing or something similar going on there, but yeah, not sure how they're doing that. Not sure it's worth the effort. So let's zoom you in and have a look, see what we've got here. Right, first thing looking in here, there's a couple of things that immediately spring to light that I wasn't expecting. We've got a large UART header down there. I'm guessing that's UART and JTAG. We've got a connector for an SD reader, PLD JTAG, LED board, EJTAG. There's all sorts on here. We've got a SATA connector over here, and we've got HD 12 volts and HD 5 volts. So this top board certainly supports having a hard drive, and there is definitely another circuit board under, which bears out what I thought might be happening. We've got a mini PCI Express Wi-Fi card here. That's not unusual. That's quite frequently done in routers. Let's just take that out. The card does provide for two UFL connectors. If that will focus down, it might do. There we go. The Wi-Fi coverage on this modem is absolutely awful, and if that's all we've got in terms of antennas, then that explains it. There is no manufacturer for that. I don't recognise that logo, and we can't even pop that can off to see what the chipset is. PCIe I/O, so I'm guessing that might be a fully populated mini PCI Express slot. We've got RAM, K4B 4G16, so 4 gig modules maybe. We have a THG-BMF G6C1LBA1L. That's number and a half, and we've got a lattice PLD there, so we can obviously directly access that PLD through the JTAG port. 4 Ethernet connectors. We've got a phone connector on the back here. We've got USB 3, WPS, and it looks like there may well indeed be a modem in there. Let's go deeper. So there is definitely more to this. The case is screwed together in layers as well. So the way this behaves is you access the modem through, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I can give ranges as an example. So you'd access this through 192.168.0.1, and then that's the router, sorry, and then the modem appears to be on its own IP address of, say, 192.168.1.0 or 1.1. So there are definitely two discrete devices in here. How are we connected, I wonder? So everything comes out. Well, that's a fairly boring. There's actually keyhole type slots under there, so you could wall mount this if you took the stupid sticker off. Right, what have we got? Yep, we most definitely have another modem underneath. So the top board has no branding on it at all, and the bottom board is branded ViaSat. So hopefully the camera went off halfway through that, and you only saw me dismembering a can and a really nasty. I mean, I've bent that up a little, but that's the heatsink they put on this FPGA. So in here we have an Altera Cyclone 4. We appear to have a debug connector for that there. We have something marked FPGA JTAG here, so I think despite that being branded ViaSat, it's something else. This is quite obviously a ViaSat board. We've got some differential pair goodness going on down there. All of this over here appears to be power supply. We've got our connection up to the main board there. Not quite sure what that's going to be or why it needs so many pins. I'm almost certain this is connected via Ethernet to that top board, so I don't overly know what's going on. We have an Analog Devices AD80354 in there. We have a mystery box there that we can't get onto, which has got a UFL connector footprint. I don't think there's any way we can get into that. I probably could just destroy it because I can't use it. It's incidentally, I believe it's this that's got the firmware on that's no good. Can we get that off with unreasonable force? It is well attached though. And this is an old pair of these, but I don't care about that. So we have completely destroyed the board, and that appears to just hide an oscillator, so that really wasn't worth the grief. So yeah, it's quite an unremarkable board. I'm more curious to know as to what this is, and I'm just having a look at that PCI Express slot, and we've got at least 3 lanes going out to that, possibly 4. So I'm guessing that's fully populated, whatever it is. SD connector there. We've got a UART there, so maybe I'll work out what the pins are on the UART and we'll fire that up and see what this really is. But this feels like an off-the-shelf board. It doesn't feel like a specialist piece of kit for them. And looking at the MikroTik boards, it's very close to them. I would almost be inclined to say that this is probably running OpenWRT or something similar. And that being the case, we might be able to get something else on there, because it's obviously a fairly chunky board with a reasonable amount of memory. Being able to use that SATA connector might be useful, and if not, certainly the USB 3 is. I wouldn't be able to get any more of these. Well, I probably could on eBay, but I wouldn't want to put the effort into finding any more of them. But maybe it's something that could be useful. I mean, could we put a 3G or 4G card in there? We probably could. I did have one. What cards have we got? So we've got a normal Wi-Fi card in there, so we could upgrade that. Unfortunately, it turns out that this is micro, so not going to fit in there. I don't think we've got anything else useful. I think I've got an SSD that will fit in that slot as well if it's fully populated. So we'll chuck those two off to one side, we don't need them. There was a little heatsink wedged in that tuner as well. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, it just feels a bit Mickey Mouse. But the whole experience with this ViaSat modem has been quite horrible, so it kind of bears out the expectations. But this is a nice little board, and I'm going to experiment with this, and maybe I'll bring you back at some point in the future if I do successfully manage to get a UART connection. So as far as that one's concerned, that's it. I'm going to have some of my coffee, and I guess it's on to the next. Take care. Bye.